And we're back for our final keywords and concepts videos for chapter 5. So at the very end of chapter 7, at the end of chapter 7 here, we're talking about IQ, which is a whole can of worms. But IQ, or intelligence quotient, describes a score earned on a test designed to measure intelligence. Today, only professionals trained in psychology can do this. The purchase of these tests literally requires a degree in psychology. If you go on the internet and you take one of the ones where you have to pay $35, you've already taken the IQ test. Don't do that, guys. Just don't do it. It's a bad idea. It's just going to tell you whatever you want to hear. IQ is not the end-all be-all of intelligence, is all I have to say about that. So let's learn about the Flynn effect. The Flynn effect is the observation that over generations, each generation has a significantly higher IQ than the last. Now, there's lots of debate about why this is. It's not necessarily that each generation is inherently smarter than its parents. It is, however, much more likely that each generation has access to all of the knowledge and information their parents' generation created and all of the generations before that, so they kind of get an advantage. Like, it's a lot easier for me to know lots of things in the modern world because of the internet, right, than it would have been for somebody in the 1950s. I can have access to way more things. So that's just a personal theory as to why that's the effect, but that's what the Flynn effect is. And then the way that we learn so much about human genetics is through this amazing Minnesota study of twins reared apart, which we talked about in previous weeks. Incredibly well-known twin studies, because these are genetically identical humans being raised in different environments. So we really get to kind of figure out what's genetic and what's environmental. And the findings from this study reveal a significant genetic component to intelligence. Twins who were reared apart scored remarkably similarly on IQ. It didn't really matter how they were raised, with one exception, and that's how we're getting into the range of reaction. So this is the theory that each person responds to the environment in a unique way based on their genetic makeup. So according to this idea, your genetic potential is a fixed quantity, right? Your genes come out the way they come out when you are born. You cannot change that. But whether you reach your full intellectual potential that is contained within that genetic code is heavily dependent upon the environmental stimulation you experience, particularly in childhood. So yes, there is absolutely a genetic component to intelligence, but there's an environmental component to realizing that genetic component within intelligence. All right, I'll see you in the next video.